Hello developers, if you have used Media Query in any of the web application, then you must know the pain of using Media Query for creating responsive web apps. A lot of struggle we have to do. We have to write entire CSS for each and every screen size and for all the classes and elements for different breakpoints. So let's say we have 10 class names in our application and we have two breakpoints, then at least we have to write 20 times the CSS for those 10 classes, right? In this video, we will discuss about making web app responsive without using media query. So let's get into the video. In CSS, there are two types of units. The first one is absolute and the second one is relative unit. Absolute units are the unit which are fixed in size and is same in all the screen sizes. So let's say if you have defined a div a width of 16 pixel, then that div appears to be 16 pixel in each and every screen size. It doesn't matter whether the screen size is large or the screen size is small. It is going to appear in as 16 pixel of width. So example of absolute units are like px, pt, pc, mm, etc. The second one is relative unit. So relative units are the unit which are actually relative to some another length property. Some another, maybe the width of the screen, maybe the height of the screen, or something else. So relative units are like em, rem, vh, vw, etc. So in this video, we will mostly use the relative unit to check out what we are going to do. So we are going to use em and rem concept mostly. So let's check what is rem and em. If you know what is rem and em, how it works, it's good. If not, let's check out. So rem is actually the relative unit, and it is relative to the font size of root of the document. That means the html tag. And em is relative to the font size of the parent element or the nearest parent. Okay, so let's check in the code how this rem and em works. So I have actually created a very small html file in which we have a h1 tag and we have a div with a class name as container, and inside this container we have again a div with a class name of box, and inside this box we have a h2 element. Okay, so first of all we will see how this em works, then we will see how this rem works. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give the font size to the container. So the font size of the container I'll define as 32 pixel, and for the box I'll define the font size of, let's say, 16 pixel. And for this h2, what I'll do is I'll define a font size of 2em. 2em. Okay, we know that em means the font size will be relative to its parent. So what is h2's parent? H2's parent is this div box. Okay, what is the font size of box? It's 16 pixel. So can you please tell me how much the font size of h2 will be in pixel? I'm waiting. Okay, so it will be 2 times of the font size of its parent, which is 16 pixel, and it will be 32 pixel. Let's check out whether it's 32 pixel or not in the browser. Okay, I'll just debug this h2. The computed font size of h2, you can see it as 32 pixel, so we are right. Okay, so this is the way in which em works. What if we have not defined the font size in its parent, but we have defined the font size in its parent's parent, which is container. We have defined the font size here, but we have not defined the font size in box. Then what will be the font size of h2? The font size of h2 will be the font size, it will be relative to the font size of its parent's parent. Okay, so in this case how much will be the font size? It will be 2 times of 32, which is 64. So it should be 64. Let's check out in the browser whether it's 64 or not. We can see that it is 64 pixel. So This is the way in which EM works. How REM works? So what we will do now is, instead of giving it as 2EM, we'll give it as 2REM. So when we'll give it as 2REM, then it will be the font size of the root. Means the 2 times the font size of the root. Okay, let's check out what is the font size. Font size is 32 pixel. It means that 2 times the font size of its root. It means 2 times of 16. So from here we get to know that the font size of the root is by default is 16 pixel. Okay, how I am saying that it is 16 pixel? Let's get to the whiteboard. So in any of the browser, in modern browser, in not any, I can say in all of the modern browser, in which people are mostly using, that like Chrome, Edge, Safari, Mozilla. So in all of these browsers, the font size is actually predefined by the team, and which is 16 pixel. So in the browser, one REM is equals to 16 pixel, and which is equals to 100%. So just remember this. Okay, just remember this. By default, in any of the browser, one REM is equal to 16 pixel, and which is also equals to 100%. Okay, now again let's go to the code. So now what I will do is, I'll just prove it out. We know that by default the font size of root, which is HTML, the font size is 16 pixel. Okay, and H2, and for H2 I'll just remove the font size of H2 also. Now we'll go to the browser. I have reloaded the browser as well. Now you can see this for this H2, or just for consideration now, for just for now, just consider this H1. Okay, it will be easy. So by default, the font size of H1 is 2EM. Okay, okay. So the parent of H1 is body, and the font size is not defined there. So it will refer to the font size of HTML. Okay, and we have defined the font size of HTML as 16 pixel. Okay, and that is the reason this H1 font size is getting as 2 times of 16, which is 32. You can see the default font size of H1 is 32 pixel. Okay, now what I'll do is, I'll just make this H1 as font size of 1 REM in terms of root. Okay, making it as 1 REM, not 2. Okay, just make sure it's 1 REM. So in this case, the font size of H1 will become 1 into 16, which is 16 pixel. If you see in the computed font size, it will be 16 pixel. So from here you can say that the font size is actually 1 REM is actually depending on the root font size. Okay, and now I'll prove it out that 16 pixel is the default one. So instead of this, what I'll write is, I'll write it as 100%. Comment this out. If again I'll go to browser, you can see that still the font size is 16 pixel. If I will write the font size as 1 REM, you can see that in the browser still this font size of H1 is 16 pixel. Okay, so from here we can say, right, that the default font size of root is 16 pixel. Okay, so we will use actually this concept to make our responsiveness. But before that, let's check out the problem, the issue which people used to face when while they are creating the web application without media query. Okay, I'll just write a very small CSS for this. What I've done is, I have actually given a width of 900 pixel to the container, height of 100 pixel, and I've given a border just to mark it out, like whether it's a container or it's a box. And similarly for box as well, given a width of 500 pixel, height of 100, and a border of yellow color. Let's now check out in the browser. So you can see that here, uh, this is the window now. Okay, let me just pop it out. Okay, or let me just make it down. Fine. So you can see that in the large screen size, it is looking nice. Nothing is getting overlapped, no scroll bar, neither in the horizontal nor in the vertical side. There is no scroll bar actually. But when I start making the screen smaller, you can see that a scroll has came, right? A horizontal scroll bar has came. Why this is so? This is because the the width of this container is actually fixed, and is fixed to 900 pixel, and our screen size width is 136 pixel, and that is the reason we used to get the scroll bar, which is not a good user experience, right? So to get out of this, we are actually using media query, or even you can use VW, you can say. But for this video purpose, actually I'm trying to show what is the issue. So for this we will use pixel only, but yeah, we can overcome this using VW and VH as well, but we'll not go into that. Okay, now we'll check one more example, that if we give a very large text to this H2, what happened here is, okay, let's give some VW. In terms of VW, this container, so what I've done is I have given a width of 90 VW and height of 50 VH, and same for box, a width of 70 VW and height of 50 VH. And now let's check out in the browser how it is looking actually. So this is the view. This is looking very awesome in the larger screen size, but the problem actually starts when we will make the screen smaller. So you can see that here, right? The width and the height of this red box and the red container and the yellow box is going to be adjusted based on the screen width and the screen height, because we have given the height and the width in terms of VH, which is a relative unit. Okay, VH and VW. So it is going to be adjusted automatically. But how about this text? It's going out of the box, right? So to fix these kind of issue, there are multiple ways to fix this font issue, this text issue. But in this video I'm going to show you how we can solve this exactly using RAM and using the font size of the root. Okay, so there are multiple ways. So the traditional way is using media query. So how people used to do is, people used to earlier uh, give this a media query. So what media query we have given here is like maximum width is 470 pixel. So any screen size which is having width less than 470 pixel, give the font size of 16 pixel to this H2 element. Let's check it out. So I'll just make this side by side. This H2, the computed size font size of H2 is 24 pixel. Now when I reduce the reduce the screen width size, and when it will be less than 400 pixel, you can see that the font size has become 16, right? So based on that actually, this media query, you can actually create, at least you can make the font size smaller, and likewise, like you can add some extra breakpoint, or you can reduce the font size to, let's say, 10. then so that it will work. So this is a traditional way. So now you can see that now it's not coming outside of this box. So this is a traditional way of doing the things. So let's say we have to write this media query, or we have to add the breakpoints for 10 screen size, then you have to write this kind of similar code 10 times. And just imagine what if we have a lot of elements like h2, h3, h5, or we have a lot of classes. Then you have to write the media query for all those elements and classes. Your code will become very huge, and it is very much painful when you are debugging. Okay, so what we are going to do is, instead of this, we know, right, the rem is actually the depending upon the font size of the root. Okay, what we are going to do is we are actually defining the media query only for the root element and not for the classes and the elements. Okay, we will use media query for the root. By default, the root is having the font size of 16 pixel. This is the default one, we have defined it. And we have added the breakpoint of 200 pixel, and we have added the breakpoint of 400 pixel. Okay, and in these two breakpoint we have actually defined the font size for this html, the root. And we will actually use this concept. And now if you define the font size of h2 in terms of rem, okay, then what will happen is, in the screen size which is more than 200 pixel, the root font size will be 18. Okay, then this h2 font size will become 1 in 1 times of 18, which is 18 pixel. And in the screen which is having the width of 400 pixel and more, the font size of h2 will be 1 into 20, which is 20 pixel. So this kind of concept we are going to use. We can check out in this screen itself. Let's check it out. We have added two breakpoint. The one is 200 pixel and the other one is 400 pixel and more. Let's check this out. So now our screen width is 517, which is more than 400 pixels. Then can you guess like what will be the font size of h2? It should be 1 times of this one, which is 20 pixel. Let's check this computed font size, which is 20 pixel. As we make our screen smaller, and when the screen size is smaller than 20 sorry, 200 pixel. Okay, so the breakpoint is 400 pixel and 200 pixel. So when the screen size is less than 400 pixel, it will take this font size. So the font size, check it out, 517, which is more than 400 pixel. The font size is 20 pixel. When we will make the screen width smaller, and when the screen size is just 400 and less, you can just check this font size. The see now the font size, it became 18 pixel. Isn't it? It's simple. So let's say we have to give the styling to this container and the box. We will give the width and height in terms of rem, not in terms of vh or vw. We can give that, but for this video we are using rem. Okay, so in this case we are actually not defining this we are not defining the styling for these three classes or elements for different screen size, right? Rather we are using the media query only for the root, and the whole magic is happening using this rem. Now check in the browser how it is looking. You can see that it is automatically scaling. Actually this vw is very much large, that is the reason it's that horizontal scroll bar is coming. It means that around 30 rem, 30 into 20 is around 600 pixel, which is obviously very much more, right? We'll just reduce it, we'll make it as 20. This height if you see is coming smaller, and due to which this text is going out of the box. So let's make this height as around 15. Here it will be, let's make it 10. Fine. Or let's just increase these as well. 13. Yeah, so now it is looking nicer. So my intention is not to make the screen exact similar, like a production application or something like that. My intention is just to show that how this width, height, font size and whatnot is getting scale in and scale out based on the font size of the root, and that too for different screen sizes. My intention is just to show that. So just be with me. I'll show you that how it is getting scaling up and scaling down. Okay, so here we have given this styling. Font size of h2 is 1 rem, and let's add one more breakpoint for 600 pixel, and for 600 pixel we have a font size of 25 pixel for root. Okay, so now if you see that in the screen size which is more than 600 pixel, we have the font size of root as 25 pixel. Then can you guess that what will be the width of container, which will be 20 into 20 times of 25? It will be around 20 into 25, which is, I don't know, let's check it out in the browser itself. So the width of this container will be 500 pixel. Okay, 500 pixel. Okay, so this is exactly same whatever we thought of, right? Similarly for height, similarly for this box width and height. Okay, and just see the just see that how this width and height is getting changed at these breakpoints. So now our breakpoint is 600 pixel, font size is 25 pixel, due to which the width is coming as 500 pixel. Our another breakpoint is 400 pixel and more. Okay, so now we will see that what will be the width of the container in the screen size which is 400 pixel and more but less than 600 pixel. Let's check it out. So 400 and more but less than 600 pixel, which is let's say 480. For this the font size, sorry, the width of the container would be 400 pixel, which we have calculated. Okay, for the screen size which is more than 200 pixel but less than 400 pixel, the font size will be 18 pixel. Let's check this out. 400 pixel and less, which is, and more than 200 pixel, which is 326. For this the font size, or sorry, the width size is 360 pixel, because font size is 18. 20 times of 18, which is 360, right? So you can see that you can notice from here is our whole UI, whether it's container, whether it's box, or whether it's a h2 tag, all of these are getting scale up and scale down based on the font size of its root, because each and every unit is defined in terms of rem. Okay, so in this way you can actually define your breakpoint based on the your ux, and you can give the font size to this html for different breakpoints. It completely depends on you how you want to make this make your ui look good. So you can actually define your css for or your font size for these breakpoint or whatever breakpoint. So there are list of device, so you can check out for which device actually you are focusing, and then you can define your breakpoints. Okay, so this is the very easy way, and very and if you are using this way, it is your code is very easy to manage, very easy to understand by any developer. So let's say if you have written your code and someday some other developer is coming and seeing your code, and it will be very easier for him or her to debug your code, and uh, they will easily understand that what your intention was in writing these lines. Okay, but in this way we also have some demerits. Like, you will say that we are still using media query. That is obvious. Yeah, we are using it, but if you see, we are using very uh, very few line of code we have written for media query, right? and and we are defining just only one element or one tag, which is html, inside this media query. But still we are using media query. That is not good, right? This is one demerit. And the second demerit is, between the breakpoints the size is constant, and it may look big or small between the screen which lies between the breakpoints. What I mean to say is, if you see, we have a breakpoint of 200 pixel and 400 pixel. Between this 200 and 400, 200 different kinds of pixels are coming, right? Like 201, 210, 215, 280, 308, something like that. So for all those screen size, this font size is constant, which is 18 pixel. And as this font size is constant, the width of the container, the height of the container, the font size of h2 is going to be constant, right? Let me show you. So just consider this width, okay, for the screen size which is more than 200 pixel and but less than 400 pixel. The width is 360 pixel, okay. So there might be lot of device. You can see that the width is constant, okay. So there may be a lot of device in this world which comes in between these two breakpoint, between 200 and 400 pixel width. And for all those screen sizes, okay, for all those screen sizes, your ui might look big or small. So this is one of the demerit, because this width is constant, right, between these two breakpoint, 200 and 400. So this is also again issue. So how we are going to solve this issue? We will actually use fluid responsive font size to resolve these kind of issue. And in that fluid responsive font size, we will not use any media query in any point in time. Let's remove each and everything. Let's remove each and everything from our code. What we will do is we will use the fluid responsive font size. What is fluid responsive font size? We will define a font size of root in some calculation. Inside this calc function, we are actually defining 15 pixel plus 0.39062 VW, which is a magic number, you can say. I'll provide a link in my description where you can read more about this number, why we are actually using this number. But once you have written this in your code, give the font size or the width or the height of any of the element or in your in your application, then it will become a responsive. Let's check this out. What I'll now do is I'll again I'll again define a width and height for this container in terms of rem itself, but it won't be now constant. Instead of, for 13 we have given, for this we have 15 we have given. So now between the breakpoints or between any of the two screen sizes, this is not going to be same, or this is not going to be constant. It will be like a fluid. It keeps on changing. So just consider the width of this container. So this container width is actually 320 pixel. It should change whenever I'm changing the width of the screen. It should change. It's not changing, okay. So there is some issue in the code maybe. Okay, so here just mark this. Between this plus you have to add the space, then only it will work, else not, okay. In css I have given the space. So now each and everything will be kind of fluid. So based on the script width, each and everything will flow whatever you have given it as rem. So now you can see that for this container width, so this container width is 328 pixel, whenever i'm changing whenever I'm changing the screen width, it is changing. You can see that it's changing, right? So this is kind of now fluid. It is not constant between two breakpoints, right? Between 200 and 400. Now it's not constant. It keeps on changing, right? So it totally depends on the width of the screen size in which you are actually viewing this application. Isn't it so simple? We have just added a one line of code, and we have defined our unit in terms of RAM, and our application became responsive, right? It is too much easy to manage, and we have not used any media query in this code, and our application is responsive. If you want to learn more similar to this, do like, share and subscribe our channel. We will try to bring more amazing stuffs. Thank you for watching. See you again.